Hello, 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 hello again. Hello, everyone. We are all welcome again to Sabon Rai New Life. You all welcome again to Sabon Rai. This is my chat group, my chat session, Sabon Rai New Life. And we are here today to continue from last week. So if you are joining me, you're welcome. You're welcome again. And we will be talking about the things we will be picking up from where we left it last week. And we will be doing a bit of reflection, a bit of having to repeat ourselves, that is to jog our brain from that which we discussed last week. And we jog our brain, we bring things into remembrance, and then we continue from that. So you are welcome. If you're just joining me, you're welcome. This is the session that we chat. We just talk things over, and then we're able to reflect on some things that will help us in our journey of life. So you're welcome to Sabon Rai New Life. And my name is Florence. So all through the section, I will keep introducing myself. I will keep telling people um, who I am, and so on and so forth. So, and you are all welcome if you're joining me. And I know that we're going to enjoy ourselves today. We are going to enjoy ourselves because it's all about something that is happening to each and every one of us, that which is inbuilt inside us. And it's all about what we help us to live our life in a peaceful way, to live our life in such a way that we can impact into the life of others. And it is really important, that is something that is important in our journey of life. And I know that each and every one of us will be blessed today. You will take something home. Last week, I did take something home, even though I was the one speaking, and yes, I can still see some of the things that is applicable to me. And as I'm reading it, I can see what is applicable to me. But today also, I believe that I'm still going to get something out of all this that we're discussing, and that will impact into my life as well. So we are all welcome again to Sabon Rai New Life. Sabon Rai means new life. That's just what it is. Sabon Rai, new life. And that is the meaning of that word. Sabon Rai, new life. So how do we get this new life? Which is by changing. By changing. So you're welcome. If you're joining me, just joining. It's by changing from what we are, and assuming a new life, changing. That is just what Sabon Rai means. And this platform is to encourage, is we're to encourage one another. We are here to encourage one another. We are here to support one another. We are here to sharpen one another, and support one another in our journey of life. In our journey of life. So it is not the journey. A man is not supposed to be an island. You're not supposed to be by yourself, a loner. We journey together. We journey together. And as we journey together, we are strength unto one another. So that is what Sabon Rai is here to do. So as we journey together, we can discuss together, and we can empower one another. We can encourage one another. We can support one another. So if you're just joining me, my name is Florence. And as we start today, I know that you will be blessed, and I will be blessed as well. So where do we stop? Last week, I'm going to just give us a quick recap. Hello, Herb and Spicy Kitchen. Hello, how are you? Thank you so much. I'm fine. And how are you? How was it? How has your week been? Did you have a good week? Yes, I'm sure you did. So thank you for joining, and thank you for joining last week as well. So I hope that you will enjoy it as well this week. But I'm going to start with a quick recap of what we did discuss last week. A quick recap. So last week we were discussing something, a topic that is very, very important, very, very important. And we're talking about anger anger. And then we did come to say anger is an emotional is an emotion that is characterized by antagonistic behavior towards another person. Antagonistic behavior towards another person, and it is deliberate. It's deliberate. It's a deliberate thing that you do it deliberately, even though you might be on the right, but at the end of the day, you become on the wrong side because sometimes we do it in a wrong way. So, and we have been looking at that. So, anger can be a good thing. We discussed last week, and anger can also be a bad thing, and that is what we discussed last week. And then we find out that anger is inside every one of us. Everyone has got anger. No one can say I am free of anger, no matter who the person is. Nobody is free of anger. And also, last week, we were looking at the word of God. We read from the Bible last week. And one of the key things is that God wants us to put away some things in our life. God wants us to put away some things. Hello, how are you? You're welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. You're welcome again. You're welcome. My name is Florence. And this platform is Sabon Rai, and which simply means new life, like I said earlier on. So, and we are here today to discuss and to gain something, and to talk about anger, which we started last week. We were discussing anger. And this anger that we're talking about is what I am trying to define it for us, that anger is an emotion. It's an emotion that is characterized, I'm biting my tongue now, by antagonistic behavior towards one another. And it could be a deliberate, it's always deliberate anyway, because you're conscious of the fact that you are angry. And it could be right. Anger could be right. Anger could be wrong. We know that. We've seen that. And that everyone is subject to anger. There's no one that will say that I'm free from getting angry. No, 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 no. Every one of us have got that degree of anger embedded inside us. So anger lives in the subconscious of our mind. So it's sleeping there. It's a sleeping dog. But whenever anybody, it can be triggered at any time. It can be triggered at any time. And then we went on to talk about, yes, the positive side of anger and the negative side of anger. We also did talk about the fact that the Bible, that is our manual and our guide, did recognize that people can get angry. Because we are human beings, we are not spirits, we're human beings. So the Bible did recognize that people like you and me can get angry. But one thing the Bible says is that be angry, but do not sin. Be angry, but do not sin. So we went on that. And also, we did discuss about the fact that the Apostle Paul was advising us. The advice that Apostle Paul was giving each and every one of us is this: that now that Jesus Christ has been to the cross of Calvary, he died for the sin of the whole world. Now, he said, now put on the new man and put off the old man. So we were trying to see what is old, what is new. What is old, what is new. And part of the old man that God wants us to put away is anger. So there is a long list of them, but we picked on anger. So God wants us to put away anger. Anger is not good for us. Anger does not. And also last week we did discover that anger is not good for us emotionally, mentally. When somebody is angry, sometimes when they are very, very angry, when they get to a type of anger that is very dangerous, they become momentarily, they are mad. They are uncontrollable. And also, we also can see that to the body, anger is no good at all. To the body, your blood pressure is up, your heart rate is up, the adrenaline is up. In that anger, anything can happen. Some people can collapse, and anything can happen. So anger does not carries a lot of negativity, but we also see that anger can be positive. Anger can be positive. Anger can be positive. So we were encouraged last week. Part of the things that I went home with last week is that thing has kept ringing in my mind, the assertive anger. The assertive anger. So God is wanting each and every one of us, when we are angry, to get something positive out of it, not something negative. Get something positive out of it. And that is a school on its own. A school on its own. And we discover that we can't do this on our own unless we put on the new man. The new man, unless Jesus Christ help us, is helping us to put on the new man. So each and every one of us, from last week, I'm going to give us a recap. Now, if you're just joining us, my name is Florence, and this platform is Sabon Rai. And Sabon Rai means new life. Sabon Rai means new life. So we are discussing anger. We started from last week to discuss about anger, and we are carrying on again because we have 10 common types of anger. Last week we discovered that we have 10 common types of anger, but we were only able to cover 3 of them. And by the grace of God, this day, that today, we will be covering another 3 types of anger. 3 types of anger. So we go. I'm just going to give us a quick recap about last week, in order for us to I want to carry us from the beginning, so that we are not just for the sake of those people that are just joining us. They were not here last week, and so I'm just going to carry us again, to carry us through from the beginning. Carry us through from the beginning. So, but it's going to be a recap for 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we go over into details over 4, 5, and 6. May the Lord help us in Jesus' name. So today, you are welcome. You're welcome. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. My name is Florence, and what we are discussing today is anger. We are continuing in that anger, the topic that we were discussing, anger, anger, anger. So last week, looking at the fact that anger is all about our emotions. That is emotion. It is right inside us. It's not an outward thing that you can see. It is inside. Anger is inside us, is in our subconscious. So anger comes from inside, and meaning that sometimes we need to be able to control it, because anger can be destructive. Some people, they have a type of anger that is uncontrollable. But today, we are trying to get ourselves to the point that when we get angry, it is going to bring something positive, and we are able to control ourselves. We are able to control ourselves. So, looking at last week we started with assertive anger. We know that anger has 10 10 types of anger, and we started with assertive one. The assertive anger is really constructive type of anger, or really constructive type of expression when you are angry. If this is your type of anger, you use these feelings of frustration or rage as a catalyst for positive change, as a catalyst for positive change, rather than avoiding confrontation, rather than avoiding anger, rather than resorting into verbal insult or physical outburst, or you express your anger in a way that make people to feel bad. No, you will not do that. This type of assertive anger will be the type of anger that you will express your anger in a way that you will create positive thing out of it. Now, what did they say? It said you express your anger in a way that creates change and get you closer to having what you want and need. What you want and the need that you want to see. You want to meet a certain need in the life of a child, in the life of a colleague, or in a marriage, or in our secular, or in your business. Anger can come in any way. You can be angry. Anger comes in the church, anger comes in our business, anger comes at home, between the relationship, anger comes between you and your children, and between you and your husband. Anger, 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 anger. But when we are angry, the assertive anger is the number one anger that we discussed last week. This type of anger is a constructive one. It's a constructive one. And last week, if you remember very well, I said to us, this type of anger is the anger that Christ is asking us, to emulate, that the word of God is saying unto us. Be angry, but do not sin. Be angry, but do not sin, rather than avoiding confrontation, rather than keeping malice, rather than resorting into verbal insults or outbursts, rather than expressing your way in such a manner that is disgraceful or degrading. Now, this assertive anger is saying, no, you need to get your anger directed in a positive way, in a positive way. That is, you will need to come closer to what you want to see, the change you want to see. So, assertive anger is an anger that when somebody does something to you, you think before you act. You think, now, how do I approach this? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? This person, how do I get this person? How do I mend this anger? How do I control this anger so that it doesn't get out of hand? That is the way that this assertive anger say, without causing distress or destruction, without causing distress or destruction, without breaking the channel of communication, without, one has to, this type of assertive anger, you will have to step back before you can react. When something happens, step back, and then you have a think about it, rather than coming out full blown or with an outburst. You step back a little bit. Expressing anger in an assertive way helps you to address what you want. It helps you, you're cool about it, and you are able to express what you want done without transgressing other people's rights or their boundaries, without violating the rights of the other person or encroaching into their boundaries. So I was thinking last week, so how do I violate another person's rights? How do I encroach into another person's boundary? There is a boundary. Immediately I step out of my own boundary into the boundary of the other person, maybe 2 meters to the person, and immediately I am able to hit the other person, then I have violated them. I have violated them. So expressing anger assertively will help us not to violate one another, not to violate one another, and not to cross the boundary of another person. So it means that it is a good way of managing our anger. So assertive anger, we were told last week that it is very powerful and it is difficult to achieve. An assertive anger, you have to learn. You have to constantly learn how to do it. That is, it constantly send you into thinking. It's a way of life that you have to learn. You have to build yourself to doing it. You have to build yourself, because like I did tell us last week that when we get angry, we are all at this end. We are in the middle here. So the assertive anger, you have to think which way to go. Now, in the way that you're thinking which way to go, you pause a little bit. You pause a little bit. And when you pause a little bit, you are able to think. So assertive anger helps you to address what you want without transgressing. So, and they say to us, it is a powerful, 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 powerful tool that each and every one of us can have in our character. So assertive anger is a powerful motivator. It's a powerful motivator. Imagine if you have assertive anger, if you have that type of character or that type of behavior, you will win the heart of people, a lot of people. You will hardly get into trouble, because assertive anger is a powerful motivator. No, not only for yourself, you motivate also the other person to change. You motivate them to change. There's a lot of positivity in assertive anger. So we are encouraged from last week to use assertive anger all the time. All the time. Use assertive anger to overcome your fears. Use assertive anger to address injustice. Use assertive anger to achieve whatever you want to achieve, the desired outcome in life. Use assertive anger. Assertive anger is what we aim to achieve. And one of the ways that we can achieve it is allowing God to help us. It is a difficult thing, but we always have to. We always, after last week, I did write down some things, and I said, okay, how do I become assertive in my anger? How do I become assertive? And I have put down some few steps, what I can do. Stop and think. Number one, stop and think. Always, I have to stop and think. And when things happen, I have to ruminate over it to find out, what, how I could have done it better. How I could have done that is a reflection of how you could have done things better, so that when it comes to you another time, you will remember, yes. Oh, yes. When it happens the other time, this is what I did wrong. This is what I did right. And the outcome, was the outcome okay? Was the outcome not okay? Then you are able to ask yourself and to reflect on things and to ask God to help you. The Bible says, is any of you lack wisdom? So assertive anger needs wisdom. You need wisdom to deal to operate in this realm. To operate in this realm, you need wisdom. So, but the Bible did say, is any one of us, if any one of you lack wisdom, if any one of you lack wisdom, ask of the Father in heaven, and he is the one that is able to give without upbraiding. We will not hold back. God will not hold back any good thing. If we ask him, he is able to do it for us if we ask him. You're welcome if you're just coming. My name is Florence, and as we continue, we're just ruminating over last week. We're just giving a feedback. We're doing a reflection of last week, all what we did last week so that we can juggle our memory. And then we did talk about this assertive anger. That is the one we dwell so much on it, because that is where we want everyone to be. That's where you want to be. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to see happen in my life. And I know that that is how you want to manage your own anger as well, because that has a lot of positivity in it, and it's a desire. It comes out with a desired outcome in life, and that is what we want to see, because you don't want to go about falling apart with all your friends, falling apart with your family, falling apart. You are enemy to everybody, everybody is enemy to you. No, with assertive anger, you are able to mend things and make sure that things are positive. There is everything is in your direction is positive, and I pray that God is going to help each and every one of us. So we talked a lot about assertive anger last week, and this week and also last week we talked about, so that is type 1 anger. Type 1. So we went on to type 2 anger, behavioral anger. Behavioral anger is, or behavioral aggression is a choice to react physically towards the feelings of anger. So instead of them stopping to think about it, no stopping. So it is a choice. They react spontaneously, physically towards the other person. So behavioral aggression is a choice to react physically. Immediately the person gets you angry, the first thing is to hold your fist against the person. To hold your fist, yes, or to grab something, you want to hit that person. That is behavioral anger. So this form of anger or expression is physical and is often aggressive. Apart from that, the fact that it is physical is also aggressive, very, very aggressive, or at the very extreme of it, the end of the spectrum, it is violence. It is violent. So this type of behavioral aggression it is physical. Remember that the other one, when you step, which is the assertive one, when you step backward and think about it, you are able to, there will be no aggression in your discussion. You're cool and calm and collected, and you are able to express yourself in a clean and a clear way. Without raising your voice. You got to be calm, and you got to consider the other person, be considerate. Find a good time also to discuss it. And, you don't give fire for fire. But with the behavioral aggression, immediately the person, is able to get you angry. The first thing you do is physical. The first retaliation is for you to start to you retaliate in a physical way. This form of anger expression is physical, often aggressive. Aggressive is that you want to punch the person, you want to engage in a combat with the person, and it's also is a violent way of doing things, because when you want to hit somebody, you won't hit the person gently. You're not going to hit the person gently. It's got to be like a big blow, which is very violent way of doing things. Aggression is a behavior that has intended motives. Because you do it, it's intentional. Immediately the person gets you angry, you have the intended motive, the intention inside your mind to hit that person, or to make sure that that person feels the pain very well. So the first thing that you do is your intention. You boil from inside your mind, and then you want to cause that person harm. You want to cause harm to that person. You want to make sure that you hit that person hard. You want to make sure that you make sure you get yours out of that person in a violent way. So aggression is behavior that has intended motives to cause harm to someone else. Who doesn't wish it for you? So the person that has got you angry does not wish that you get into that type of mood. They're not, sometimes their intention is not even to harm you. Their intention is not even to get you to that point where you boil and you are so much in extreme, to the extreme. They're not, that's not their intention. But because of the way you reacted, the intention, your own intention was not good. Your intention became bad, So this might look like breaking or throwing things, or physically intimidating or attacking someone. So when you have got this type of anger, you use anything that it is within your reach, anything that is within your reach to fight the battle. You use everything that is within your reach to express your anger. If you don't even care, sometimes you throw knife, you throw bottles, you throw stone, you throw woods, anything apart from punching the person. Sometimes you think, oh, punching is not good enough, let me go and get another thing that is stronger, all in the name of behavioral aggression. Anger, behavioral anger. And that person might not wish you that type of behavior. So expressing anger by using behavioral aggression often has a negative impact. Negative impact. Remember that the assertive one has a positive impact. This one has a negative impact, and it's also carry legal and interpersonal consequences. Legal and interpersonal consequences, meaning that if you break somebody's head, you might be arrested for it. You might go behind the bars for it. And it might be you also that is injured. It's got consequences, as this is highly unpredictable. Whatever happens during your behavioral aggression is highly unpredictable. Highly unpredictable. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, and because it is an impulsive behavior that erodes your ability, to think. It erodes your ability to think. And also, this type of behavior erodes the ability for others to trust you. People don't no longer trust you because of the way, you behave. They no longer trust you or respect you. You lose your respect, you lose honor, you lose trust, and you lose relationship. You lose relationship from this type of, and you get into trouble with the government as well, with the law. So this type of anger, last week we saw that it's not a good anger at all. It's opposite to assertive anger. And this is the type of anger that Jesus Christ wants us to put away. This is the type of anger that was nailed to the cross of Calvary. This is the type of anger that you and I do not want to see ourselves exhibiting. It does not carry any positivity at all. Everything about it is negative. Everything about it. So we were looking at how do we manage this type of anger. Last week we're looking at it. How can you manage this type of anger? This type of anger, when you begin to get angry, we were encouraged from last week to walk away. Take a break. Walk away. It's worth nothing. He said this type of anger is worth nothing. Is worth nothing to your emotions. This type of anger, it automatically generates aggression, violence, and and on reflection, you will find out that it does you no good inside at all. It does you no good inside. So what are we supposed to do when we are angry in this way? As you feel your anger arising or rising up, as you feel yourself getting angry, remove yourself. Quickly remove yourself. Now, one thing that I want us to know is that, like I have put down myself last week, anytime that I see myself getting angry, I can take a cup of tea, I can take cool water, I can walk away, I can decide to come back and visit it, I can excuse myself. I will say, excuse me, I need to go to the toilet, or I need to do something. I will come back. I will come back. Then by the time I come back, that person will not be in the same, mood as I left them before I went. Because, I mean, they can't be shouting by themselves, because I have left. And if I see that they kept shouting, I will not come back in the next 5 minutes unless I see them cool down. So you can take a walk. You can take a walk. You can walk away. So as you feel your anger rising, remove yourself from the situation if possible, and use ground grounding self-talk. Grounding self-talk is what we look at last week. You can talk to yourself. You can talk to yourself like, take it easy, take it cool. I can talk to myself. I say, Florence, okay, here, just take it easy now. Just take it easy. Take it easy. I can talk to myself, and every other person can talk to themselves. Apart from talking to others to take it easy, you can also talk to yourself and say, Florence, you need to take things easy here. You need to take things easy here. And when we learn to start talking to ourselves, it might seem as if it's madness, but it isn't madness. It is a form of therapy. It is a form of therapy to regain, and that helps us to regain control of our emotions. And also, we can take deep breathing. You say, do deep breathing techniques. You can take deep breaths to calm you down. When you are angry, you can take these breaths. A lot of things that we can do. When we continue to take deep breaths until you calm yourself down. So if you are someone who needs to let your frustration physically, consider going for a walk. So if you are that type of a person that will first of all think about your fist, you will first of all, think about a bottle, an object. You will first of all think about, physical. You want to make sure that you are eroding into the personal space of that person, reaching out to slap them, reaching out to punch them. Then the best thing for you is to take a walk or run. Take a walk or run. This week, I was looking at this anger again. Then I looked more into the word of God. It said, a man of quick temper. That is from the book of Proverbs 14:17. A man of a quick temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil device is hated. So, a man of a quick temper, this is quick temper. And there's nothing good out of it. So a man of a quick temper, according to the book of Proverbs 14:17, acts foolishly. Acts foolishly. And I pray that God will help us in Jesus' name. And also, when we go to Proverbs 29:11, say, fools they give full range. They give full range to their anger. It's only a fool that will give full range of his anger, but the wise will bring calmness at the end of it. We bring calmness at the end of it. So I am encouraging each and every one of us. Which one do you want to be today? Do you want to be a fool, or do you want to be the wise one? The wise ones are the ones that we always bring calmness, assertive way of behaving. You're assertive about it. You step back, you bring calmness into that anger, and you are able to bring positivity out of it. But a fool will bring the fullness of their rage into their anger. They will bring everything into it. They will bring aggression. They will bring violence. They will bring physical. They will bring fist to fist. They will throw things at people. And I pray that God is going to help each and every one of us. So we're quickly going to go to number 3. Number 3 is the chronic anger. Number 3, we were looking at the chronic anger. You are welcome if you're just joining us. You're welcome. We're talking about anger today, and we have been looking at anger since last week, and we have seen that anger is common to every one of us. But the word of God wants us to put away anger. God does not want us to dwell in anger, because anger is no good for anybody, both physically and spiritually. But did God knows that we can get angry, or are we not supposed to get angry? So we got to that point that God really knows that we are human, that anger is embedded inside each and every one of us. Hence, Apostle Paul said, be angry and do not sin. And he said, take on the new man and put off the old man. So we went to see what the old man is. Anger is an old man. It's our old self. The new man is that which Jesus Christ made us to be. And that is the way that God wants us. So we're looking at anger. So we can get angry. The Bible says we can get angry, but we must get angry in a positive way, assertive way. So we looked at the assertive way, and we have looked at the behavioral way. Anger is no good for anybody, unless if you are directed your anger to be an assertive anger. May the Lord help us. So we're on number 3 anger now. The number 3 anger is the chronic anger. Chronic anger feels like the ongoing. It's a chronic. Now, one thing that I have learned from the medical is, because my background is medical. One thing that I have learned from the medical is this. They say, the aggressive anger, or the behavioral anger is a momentum, is impromptu, is something, is an instant reaction. So what is the opposite of something that is instant? Is chronic. Something that is lingering, something that has been there for a long time, something that is building up, building up, building up, building up. That is chronic. It takes time to come out. But the behavioral anger, is instant anger. It's not anger that takes that has been there for long. So the chronic anger feels like an ongoing and general sense of resentment of others, ongoing, a sweeping sense of frustration with certain circumstances, or often anger towards oneself. So this type of anger can be to people, and it can be to yourself, towards yourself. Often this type of anger is embedded inside us. It is embodied by a sense of nagging. That is the way it presents itself. The person is always nagging and perpetually irritated, always nagging, always nagging. She can't stand people. You will hear such people saying, I can't stand her, I can't stand her, I can't stand that. They can't stand nobody. They have a full resentment towards others, a sense of frustration all the time. They are always frustrated at every point in time. They are angry. They are angry at every point in time. They are nagging at every point in time. They are irritated. So the prolonged nature of this type of anger can have a profound and an adverse effect on one's health and well-being. So this type of anger, is a built-in anger that, if somebody has wronged you from time immemorial, this is characterized by unforgiveness. You begin to bottle it. You cannot forgive others. I think, well, from last week, I have discovered that all types of anger really needs forgiveness. You forgive people. If you don't forgive them, you cannot even practice assertive anger. If you don't learn to forgive people or forgive things, you cannot practice assertive anger. And you can see that chronic anger comes with even more, but this more unforgiven spirit. that is deeply seated inside people, they can never forgive what you have done. And therefore, they pile it up. A pile and a pile of wrongdoing, a pile and a pile of wrongdoing, and then they become chronic anger. Then they develop this character, chronic anger, there, which is they resent everybody. Everybody is the same to them. Everybody can wrong them at any point in time. They cannot stand people anymore. They cannot trust anybody anymore. Therefore, they nag all the time. And eventually, this type of anger is called adverse effects on our health and our well-being and our well-being also, because it does not allow the people to relate as they should. It does not allow you and me to relate as we should. So we can see that the other side of behavioral anger is chronic anger. It's a graduation. So I can see none of them is better. Chronic anger and behavioral anger, the two of them, they are bad. But is and the two of them leads to destruction. The two of them, there's nothing good coming out of the two of them. May the Lord help us. So how can we manage? How can we manage this type of chronic anger? Managing chronic anger, you need to spend some time reflecting on the underlying causes of your anger. Your indignation might well be justified. Yes, it might be that you have been wronged. It might be that you have been violated when you were young by those you are meant to trust. Yes, though it likely does not serve you to be chronic or ongoing. So even though they have wronged you, but that does not put you in that position where you put yourself. It is you that puts yourself in that situation. You can snap yourself off that situation through the help of God. If you can identify the source of the resentment, you may be able to resolve the inner conflict. You may be. So what we are saying this afternoon is that if you find yourself in this type of anger, you need to sit down and think about it. What actually is the cause of this anger? What is it? Search yourself very well. And search yourself. You will find the answer is embedded inside you. It's embedded inside you. You may be able to resolve this inner conflict you are experiencing by forgiving yourself and others. So the first thing that you need to do is to be ready to forgive people. After you have reflected and you have found out what the cause is, how many people have wronged you, the layers of unforgiveness, the layers of wrongdoing, you need to start forgiving people. You need to start forgiving them. If you don't forgive them, you will not get out of this. It's like a bondage. You put yourself in a bondage and it's going to destroy. It's a thing that can destroy. The process of forgiveness is powerful and empowering. So each and every one of us, we must learn to forgive people. We must learn to forgive people, and we must learn also to forgive ourselves, to forgive people and forgive ourselves. One of my sons, I was discussing with him 2 days ago. He told me, "Mommy, do not be too harsh on yourself. Do not be too harsh on yourself." Now, when we are not forgiving ourselves, sometimes we are too harsh on ourselves. You are too harsh. Why didn't I achieve it? Why haven't I got this money? Why haven't I finished this? Why haven't this happened? Why haven't that happened? Too harsh on yourself. You need to forgive yourself. The process of forgiveness is powerful and empowering. So, to empower yourself, to empower your inner mind, you must be able to forgive others and forgive yourself. And can also help you, and that can also help you to resolve these lingering hurts and frustration that you are carrying about. Learn how to express your emotion assertively. You need to go back to the drawing board, to the number one. You learn to go, ask God. You say, is any one of you lack wisdom? Ask God. Ask God, and He will be able to forgive each and every one of us and give us a new beginning. A new beginning, and that new beginning is the assertiveness. Assertiveness. I've talked so much. I've talked so much. If you do have any question, you can put it on the chat for me. Every one of us were welcome again. You're welcome again. I hope the recap has helped us, because today now we are moving to another type of anger, which is the judgmental anger. The judgmental anger is the first, and is number 4. The judgmental. How many of us, I am in that? I think, I've seen myself always judging other people. Always, always, always. I am on the judgment side. Judgmental anger. Judgmental anger is righteous indignation. This type of anger is usually a reaction to a perceived injustice or someone else's shortcomings. Always, always, you are always the righteous one. You are always the one that has not done anything wrong. You are always the perfect one. I say, wait a minute here. Why is it that it's only me that is saying that? There's something wrong with me here. There's something wrong with me. Always seeing the wrong in other people. I never see the right there. That person that I am judging or I'm vetting my anger at, that person has goodness in them. It's only me that is seeing the bad side. I need to begin to see the good side. Judgmental anger. Judgmental anger is a righteous indignation. When you are carrying the holier than thou attitude, when you think you are the good one, and that person there is a drunkard, that person there is a this, that person there. Therefore, this type of anger is usually a reaction to a perceived injustice. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing it? Or someone else's shortcomings. A perceived injustice or someone else's shortcomings. Someone else's weakness. You already know that is their weakness. You capitalize your anger on that. And that is always what you are angry. Yes, I capitalize my anger on that. I cannot stand that. She is always like this. She doesn't call. One of my own shortcomings. I don't call people, and so on and so forth. She doesn't call. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. Always seeing what others do not do. What their shortcomings, you capitalize on it. Righteous indignation. Judgmental anger. Your anger is vexed towards the other person because of their shortcomings. Because of the things they are unable to do. Because of the things that, according to your own judgment, they are unable to. There is a target you want them to meet, but since they are not meeting that target, so you are angry towards them. And that can be, this type of judgmental anger can be between husband and wife. It can be between you and your children. Because these days we have parents that, I want my child to be this, and once the child is not that one, you are angry. That is judgmental anger. What often underlies this is a core belief that you are either better or less than others. So to some people, they always think they are better. Judgmental anger, they are better. They are far better than you. They are far better than that. They are above all that. They are above all that. Or when people begin to see themselves lesser also. Lesser than you. When they befit you, your presence or whatever they think you are, to them, it's not you. Whatever they think you are is intimidating them. So they get this holy anger, this their own righteous there's the judgmental in the, and therefore they judge you every time. They're always judging you, more judging. Whatever you do is wrong. Whatever you say is wrong. Whatever you do, whether you do this, you can never do anything right. With this type of people that have this judgmental anger towards you, I'm telling you, you cannot do it right, because they have their own standard by the way they see people, and that standard has to be met. Is that standard or nothing more? They see you as better than them. They see you as you are not to be related to, because they cannot just stand you. They cannot just stand you. So you can. So with this type of anger, what one can do about it, what one can do, say, although judgmental anger assumes a moral superiority, it assumes a moral superiorities, because they feel more superior, stance of justified fury. So because they are above. It can be at the place of work. The boss, the boss is always angry, judgmental angry. Why are you're not completing the assignment, you're not meeting the target, you're not this, always angry, judgmental fury, judgmental anger, judgmental, the sense of superiority, and moral, I'm up there, I'm up there, I'm up, and therefore you are beneath, and therefore you're not doing it rightly, and therefore you don't know how to do it. It may alienate potential allies by invalidating their differences of opinion. So it is sometimes, it may alienate, potential allies by invalidating. So when people have this type of anger, they might have allies. They might begin to have people. They begin to talk people into agreeing with them, to invalidate you because of differences. Because it's not that what you're doing is wrong per se. It's not that what you're doing is wrong, but they're capitalizing on the difference in opinion. And also, apart from bringing people to their side, they can also cause the differences of opinion in a place of work, at home, in businesses, in marriages, in a society, in this, it can cause differences in opinion and invalidate one another, and so on and so forth. This type of judgmental anger is not good in the place of our community, wherever we are. It's not good at all. This type of judgmental can not progress a place of work, cannot foster relationship very well, cannot help the developmental of anything, cannot lead to positivity. So how do we manage it? Commit to exploring the light and the shade in difference, situation. Commit to exploring. In the place of work, they say diversity. They talk about diversity and inclusion. Try to explore the light and the shade. The light, meaning that the good side of that person, and the shady part of that person, the weakness of that person, the differences in the situation. Try, as circumstances are really as simple as they are. They are simple as they seem on the surface. Sometimes these things are very simple. The person might be of this culture, of that culture, of this culture, and that person might be doing things even not to hurt you, but you just want that person that have developed with one diversity or one culture to assume your own culture. So what this to manage this type of judgmental anger, you will need to bring things on the table. and explore the good and the bad side of situations and diversity. Bring diversity and inclusion into what we do by accommodating one another, because there is the light, there is the shade in everything, in everyone. There's the good side of everyone and there is the bad side of everyone. So nobody is entirely perfect in what they do. So why don't we bring things on the table and then address it together and look at the light and the shade of things, the good and the bad side of things, of that circumstance, of that situation. When we look at it very well, we will see that not that person is not entirely bad. The character or whatever, nobody is entirely bad. There will be the good side of that person and there will be the bad side of that person. And you yourself, that you're judgmental, there is the good side of you and there is the bad side of you. It's healthy to gently challenge your own deeply held assumption by opening up to other people's perspectives. It is healthy. It is healthy to gently challenge your own deeply held assumption. Because it's an assumption that you are holding inside you concerning those people. It's an assumption. You are assuming they are bad, or you are assuming that that person is bad. You need to address that from inside of you deeply. Gently correct yourself, gently search yourself to be able to see the good in other people, by to see by opening up to other people's perspective. Open up to accommodate other people's thinking, accommodate what they have got to offer on the table. Look at it. It's not entirely bad. Don't be judgmental about it every time. You can disagree and still gain valuable insight into positive solution and perspectives to life changes. So it doesn't mean that we will not disagree. We will disagree, but we must step away from judgmental fury, judgmental anger, because that judgmental anger does not allow us to see the goodness in one another, to see the goodness, and it does not allow us to tap into the treasure that is inside each other. So yes, we can disagree. There will be differences, but that does not bring us to the place of enmity, and it does not bring us to the place where we fall apart. It does not bring us to the place where we grant the place of work, we grant our relationship. No, it does not bring us. So that is not good for any one of us at all. Without belittling others' experience or damaging your own. So you must bring things onto the table, and you will be able to discuss it very well without belittling another person. Don't make them feel that they are little. Don't make them see that they are entirely bad. You don't want to damage their feelings. No. Making sure that each and every one of us, when you bring things to the table, we all go home with the feeling of being loved, with the feeling of being appreciated. So without belittling others' experience or damaging your own reputation by being being judgmental. So what are we saying here? What we're saying is that when you take on the judgmental anger, to be able to resolve it, you have to be able to open up to see other people. You have to be able to accommodate other people. You have to be able to explain yourself in a way that you will not belittle them. You will not damage their reputation, and you will not damage your own reputation as well. Because once people know that you are like that, they are resentful towards you because you never see anything good in anybody. So you create an atmosphere that is not healthy in the place of work, whether it's business, in the place of in our society or in our homes as well. So judgmental behavior is not good for anyone. So to recap on judgmental behavior, if you're just joining us, I'm just going to recap on judgmental behavior. Judgmental anger is an holier than thou attitude. Judgmental anger is a righteously indignation or indignating type of behavior or anger that is usually a reaction to a perceived injustice or someone's shortcoming. So you perceive that that is an injustice, and then you become judgmental about it. You have not even heard the two sides yet, but you have formed your own opinion. Or you are that type of a person that is very judgmental, but you're judgmental about other people's shortcomings. You might say, okay, the way the way that she's speaking, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't, forgetting that that person is also coming from another culture. So where we capitalize our anger on the shortcomings of others, or we capitalize our own anger on the things we assume that are not necessarily wrong. They might not be wrong. Yes, our own. That's why they call it judgmental anger. Judgmental is your own assumption. Your own assumption of, you want somebody to be there and they are not there. Therefore, you've assumed that they are bad because of that. So to be able to conquer that, you have to accommodate people, bring things on the table. Bring things on the table and discuss matter without damaging the reputation of others, without belittling them, without showing yourself. They say that type of judgmental anger is always the anger of feeling superior over others. You think you know more than them. You think you know more than them, and you can speak better, and you can do this better, you can do that better. You are richer than them. Everything that you are more than the other person, or more than judgmental anger. Judgmental anger. So, and I pray that each and every one of us, when we see this is the type of anger that is easy for us to fall into, judgmental all the time, judgmental. And I pray that I will not judge people anymore. I don't have to judge people. I don't have to judge them. No, but it's whatever they do, and I see that, well, to me, I think it's bad. They might have their reason for behaving how they are behaving, but give them a space, give them a chance, a second chance. Give them a chance to explain themselves. Give them a chance to be able to come across to you. But if you stand on the judgmental side, you will never see anything good. You will never be able to reach them, and they cannot reach you also. So what we learn from managing this anger, try and reach out to people. Try and reach out to people. Try and reach out to people and settle disagreements. We may disagree, but that does not mean that we should fall apart. And that is what we have gained from this judgmental anger today. And it's not good also, because it's a type of anger that puts you away. A type of anger that puts you away. And we are going to go to the next type of anger. And we have done the judgmental one. Now we are doing the overwhelming anger. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger. So this type of anger is very common these days. They call it stress. They call it any name. They call it frustration. They call it overwhelmed anger. It's all over the place now. And every one of us, we can be caught up in it. Because what? You have too much to do. Too much to do. Too much to do. The things that you have on your plate are so many, so you're clustered in what you are. I think I belong to that type of group. You have too much to do. Too much to do. Type 5 of anger. Type 5 of anger, overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed. It usually occurs when we feel that a situation or a circumstance are beyond our control. When situation and circumstances are beyond our control, resulting in feelings of hopelessness and frustration. Resulting in feelings of hopelessness and frustration. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger is an uncontrolled type of anger. Uncontrolled type of anger. It usually occurs when we feel that the situation or the circumstance are beyond our control. It's out of hand. Now this situation is really, really out of hand, resulting in feelings of hopelessness and frustration. Now I cannot help myself. Now you see I cannot accomplish. Now you see that I cannot reach target. Now you see I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do that. I cannot catch up with my time. I cannot do what I used to do before. Overwhelmed. Uncontrolled type of anger. Uncontrolled, that you feel that the situation now is beyond your control. I can't do anything anymore. This thing is beyond my control now. This thing is in. And so this type of anger is common. Like I said, it is common these days. It is the anger that we see everywhere. The anger that we see at the place of work. The anger that we see in our homes. The anger that we see in anywhere, even in the church of God. The anger that we see in our society. The anger that we see in the family. The anger that we see, the children will say, I am the only one. Okay, you go and watch the play. Why is it I am the only one that is watching it all the time? I am the only one watching. You don't call the other person to watch. I am the only one tidying up all the time. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger. There's a sister, she said to me, if not you, tell me who is that person to do that particular task that you are overwhelmed about. The particular task that you are overwhelmed about. Who is to take on that position? This type of anger is common. It is common when we have taken on too much. This type of anger is common when we have taken on too much responsibilities, when we have taken on so much responsibility to ourselves, or unexpected life events have overthrown our usual capacity to cope with stress. So this is the type of anger that you have so much on your plate. Too much on your plate. So much on your plate. And then you have, and it comes to or you take on too much job. Maybe you are a business person. You take on too much job at a particular time. Or when we crowd all our activities into one thing, or when we don't even give ourselves breathing space at all, there will come a time that we will end up in this type of anger, overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger. This is a very common type of anger when we take on too much responsibility, or when we unexpectedly have too much life events, and these too much life events have overthrown our capacity, our usual capacity to cope with stress, our usual capacity to cope with stress. Anger here is an emotion, typing, or an emotion that is trying or tapping or trying to alert you of danger. Is trying to alert us that we don't feel well anymore, or that we are in danger, that we don't feel well anymore, or that the tank, is too full, and that stress is at hand. So this type of anger is a trigger, is a sign, is a thing that is telling us that stop, you are doing too much. Anger here is an emotion trying to alert us that we have done too much, or we are doing too much. There's enough in the tank to handle, and the stressor stacking up is in front of us. So what it means is that this type of anger, when you begin to see yourself in this, you need to stop, because already you are overdoing it, meaning that this is a stressor, that is trigger, that is telling you that this thing that you are doing, you are overdoing things. You need to calm down. You need to decluster. You need to stop a bit. You need to give yourself a break. Yes, you need to give yourself a break. This type of anger is the type of anger that you need to take yourself away. You need to take yourself away from the stressor. You need to take yourself away from the stressor. Even, this type of anger, there are times that you will want to talk. You can't just express yourself. You can't just find the right words are not coming out of your mouth. You can't speak the right things. Even when you don't want to get angry, you are getting angry. Even when you want to try and manage, you can't manage. So you need to take yourself away from it, because you cannot find the right word for it. You cannot put your finger on it. You have got so much on your plate. Nothing is getting done. Nothing is accomplished. Nothing is going well. You are not achieving, because you have got too much to think about, or too much you are doing at the same time. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger is the number 5 anger. So when we look at the overwhelmed anger, the management of this overwhelm. So the strategy to manage overwhelmed anger is crucial to reach out for help. This is very, very necessary that you talk about it. It is crucial that you reach out for help if you are experiencing overwhelmed anger. Work on expressing to other families, to friends, professional colleagues, that you are feeling overwhelmed and need some support. So, overwhelmed anger. So, it could be anywhere. It could be at a place of work. It could be in the family. It could be with your relationship. It could be anywhere. Wherever you find yourself, having to take on too much, to the point that the stressor trigger is showing, then you need to speak up. You need to tell somebody. You need to talk to somebody. Whether be it in your family, you need to talk out. Whether be it in the place of work, you need to talk to colleagues. Whether be it, with a friend or whatever. Wherever you find yourself, you need support. You need support. Ask for what you need. Try and ask for what you need that could support you. You need a break. You need something that will support you. Maybe you need a helping hand. Maybe you need a helping hand. Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to reduce what is on. Whether it's help with babysitting, okay? So if it is in the house and it is the pressure of children, it could be that you need help with a babysitting, taking a family member to a medical appointment could be part of what it was stressing you, because then you add that one, then you find somebody else to take that position. Getting a couple of hours off to go for your professional support is quite good. So if it is a place of work, you can go to get a professional support. You can go to the occupational therapist. You can go, they have therapists at work that can talk to you. There's a lot at work. Well-being, you can visit the well-being, if it is at work, where they can talk things over, or you have somebody that you can talk to at the place of work. Or a quiet night in without or to do a list, without a to-do list. You can also, have a day without a to-do list. That day you are free of doing anything at all. You don't have a to-do list. We have a to-do list for the day. Now, on the days that you want to de-escalate things, that day you will not have a to-do list at all, or an extension of work or project. You will be resting totally. That day, if you are the type of people that work at home with your computer, that day your computer is shut completely. You are not going to open it for anything, in order to make sure that you cool down. If it is babysitting, find a day that you will be away from the children, If it is a task that you have taken on, looking after elderly people or elderly family members, then you can have support workers coming in for that day. You can have a whole night of chilling out, with not doing anything, a complete day that will take you off work, off that stressor. By alleviating potential source of stress, you will regain a sense of emotional control, a sense of emotional and behavioral control again. So you find out that when you begin to do this, when you plan it, then you see that you get yourself gradually back to normal. When you remove yourself from the stressor, you get yourself gradually back to normal. You get yourself back to your emotional and behavioral control. You regain emotional and behavioral control. So this we can do with managing this type of stress, which is called overwhelmed stress. This is the common type of stress or anger. Overwhelmed anger. This is another common type of anger that is common to everyone. Everybody gets angry because the work is too much. Everybody gets angry because the tax is too much. Everybody gets angry because they never stop, and they are at the verge of breaking down. But today we have learned about it. Overwhelmed anger needs you to reduce, needs you to step back, needs you to talk to somebody, needs you to find a day that you are going to relieve yourself of that stress, and don't leave it until you break down. Before breaking down, you need to talk to somebody right away, right now. And that would be my advice to that one, and that is what we are being advised to do concerning that one. So we have looked into two types of anger. We've looked into two new types of anger today, and we looked at the judgmental anger, and then we look at the overwhelmed anger. The judgmental anger and the overwhelmed anger. So when we look at the judgmental, it's our perception. It's your perception of other people, the holier than thou attitude, the righteous, the thing that I am above, I know it better, and then you capitalize on other people's shortcomings. You capitalize on other. But I want to compare these two types of anger: the judgmental anger and the overwhelmed anger. The judgmental anger, you're angry, your anger is directed towards another person. Your anger is directed towards another person. But when you look at the overwhelmed anger, the overwhelmed anger is directed towards the activities, towards your own activities. And we can see that these two anger, they are destroyers. The judgmental anger, when you never see anything good in people, and this other anger that we have discussed, which is the overwhelmed anger, when you have too much on your plate, too much on your plate. You just have too much. You have no breathing space for yourself. You have no time to relax. You don't have no time to do anything. So the anger itself is directed towards your own activities. Is directed towards your own activities. So when we look at these two anger, the judgmental one and the overwhelmed anger, they are destroyer of person. They are destroyer of you here. They are destroying you here, because the judgmental one is the one that you just look at yourself as the only one that is good here, and these other ones, they are lesser than me. Therefore, you cannot relate to people. You cannot relate. You cannot take others on board. You cannot bring other people closer to you. You can't love people, you know. And this other one, which is the overwhelmed anger, the overwhelmed anger is you got so much. You have put so much. You are holding on to so much. You have the other one, you are judgmental. You're not moving close enough to. You are judgmental about everything and anything, about their belief, about who they are, about their shortcomings, about the fact that you're better. And this other one, you've taken too much. It's like you have accommodated too much. So meaning that there must be a balance in whatever we do to get our sanity right. To get our sanity right, not being judgmental, at the same time, not taking too much on, do not take on. You can Somebody told me that you cannot be Jesus Christ, so you can't help everybody. Yeah, but you can do whatever God has asked you to do. But remember that you cannot be the help for everyone and anyone. You got to know your limits. That is what we are saying here. You with the overwhelmed anger, you have got to know your limits. You have got to know your limits. And if we don't know our limits, then we will be going overboard. We will be going overboard. And when we go overboard, it's likely that we begin to do things in a wrong way. May God help us. You're welcome. I just want to say, if you're just joining us now, you are welcome. If you're just joining us now, we're going to look at another type of anger. The anger type 6 is the one that we're looking at. My name is Florence. So if you're just joining us, my name is Florence, and this is Sabon Rai New Life. So we are discussing about anger today. Our discussion is centered around anger. We have looked at anger. We have 10 types of anger, and we have looked from 1 to 5. Now we are going to type 6 of anger. So you permit me, let me just do part 6 and type 6 of anger, and I will do a recap from 1. So type 6 of anger. And if you do have questions, you're welcome. And if you do have questions, you can ask me questions. So type 6 of anger. Type 6 of anger is a passive aggressive anger. Passive aggressive anger. Passive aggressive anger. Now, passive aggressive anger is an avoidance type of anger. Passive aggressive anger is an avoidance type of anger. If this is your usual mode of anger expression, you likely try to evade all forms of confrontation and may deny or repress any feelings of frustration or fury you're experiencing. Passive aggressive anger may be expressed verbally as sarcasm. It is pointed silence or veiled mockery, or physically in behavior such as chronic procrastination at work. So, passive aggressive anger is the type of anger that is avoidance. avoidance type of anger. Me, I will just say that this type of anger is a malice anger. When somebody does something to me, instead of me to go directly to that person, to go and confront that person, not confront, to go and talk it over is the right word to use. To go and talk it over with that person. Instead of me talking it over with that person, no. I choose to do other things in order to show my feelings, to replace, or to show my feelings. So it's a way of showing my own frustration. Either I turn it into mocking, sarcasm. That one is done a lot in Africa. When people are angry, they mock you. They make gesture of you. They jest about you or whatever. They mock you. And when they are gisting or jesting, you become the topic of attraction. So that is veiled mockery. They mock you, or they don't talk to you at all, or they speak to you in a sarcastic way. They address you in a sarcastic way, as if you're nothing, or a physically in behavior such as chronic procrastination, or when you do need something to be done, or you want them to do something for you, they take their time, or they never do it. Or they take their time. Chronic procrastination towards you or towards what you want to be done. So they don't do it. So sometimes people who express anger passively aren't even aware that they are acting, or their action are perceived as aggressive. So those who do it, sometimes, when I learn about this thing, when I'm reading about it, it is then I know that this is a type of anger. Is this a type of anger that when you try to avoid somebody, when you try to when you make jest of them, when you speak to them in a sarcastic way, when you mock another person, you may not know, but deep inside you, you are mocking them, you are making jest of them because of anger. It's a type of anger that you are expressing towards them. When you are meant to do something for them, and you are dragging, and you don't want to do it anyway. You don't want to do it, and today you are meant to do it. Tomorrow you are meant to do it. Tomorrow, and nothing is stopping you from doing it. You just don't want to do it. Yes, then it means that there is some form of anger that is embedded towards them inside you. Sometimes, as we have seen here, sometimes people who express this type of passive aggressive anger, they are not aware of their action. This can have their personal or professional outcome because they are not aware of it. They don't know that they are doing what they don't even know that they are making effect in they have impact in that way. They are affecting that person. So passive aggressive anger is what we can practice without knowing the gravity of it. Passive aggressive anger destroys the other person. Even though you might be doing it unintentional or intentionally. It's both ways, but you are not, when we do that, we are destroying the other person. When we mock them, when we pass sarcastic comments, when we decide to go silent on them, when we decide to procrastinate in doing things for them, and each and every one of us, I can fall into this category easily, because sometimes I feel sluggish in my body to do something because of one thing or the other. And chronic procrastination, which is, I do that a lot, chronic procrastination to do something that I'm meant to do. And that is a type of thing. It's a passive aggressive anger. It's an anger. It's an anger. Whenever we find ourselves behaving like that, then it means that we are angry. There's something that is making us to be angry. We need to check ourselves. We need to. So this passive aggressive anger, how do we manage it? How do we manage passive aggressive anger? Learn assertive communication technique. We're back to the drawing board. Learn, so we can see that everything that we have discussed about passive aggressive anger is opposite of assertive. It's opposite of assertive. Number one, it says passive aggressive anger may be expressed verbally as sarcastic comments. Now, with passive aggressive, with passive anger, you come calm to the person. You come, after you've thought of how to talk to, not in a sarcastic way, and then it's saying pointed silence. That is to say, the person you might avoid them to the point of keeping malice, not talking to them at all. And we can see that the assertive one is not like that. The assertive one is that you come round and you speak about it. You speak about it. Or there is another one, they say veiled mockery. You mock the person. And you mock the person. So everything about passive aggressive anger is opposite to assertive anger. It's opposite to assertive anger. So what we are told here is that to manage this type of anger, learn assertive communication technique, which we will go back to. Assertive communication technique, and explore your own fear of confrontational. Explore your fear of confrontation. Explore your own fear of confrontation by using the scenario of assertiveness, by developing your ability to articulate your frustration and having a confidence to face the range of fears that you have. So when we have this type of anger, we need to go back to the drawing board, to go back to behaving, to go and learn the assertive technique. Then you are more likely to get your needs met, both personally and professionally. So today, what have we learned? We have learned three more new ways, three more new types of anger. So we are up to anger 6 now. Today we have learned a lot. We have seen that with the assertive anger, we have seen that anger, we have 10 common type of anger. 10 common type. The assertive one is the anger that, we are encouraged both in our secular life and in our spiritual life, because spiritually the word of God tells us that get angry but do not sin. So what type of anger will not make us sin? The assertive anger. The assertive anger is the answer to all these angers that we have seen. We have looked at all angers, but we have seen that the anger that will make us not to sin will be the assertive anger. The assertive anger is the new man. All other angers that we are looking at, they are the old man that has been nailed to the cross of Calvary. And therefore, the behavioral anger is not a good anger. It's a spontaneous anger. The chronic anger is a build-up anger, of unforgiveness. pile and pile of unforgiveness, the judgmental anger. The judgmental anger is the anger that you are just judging other people holier than thou. You are the only one that you just capitalize on other people's wrongdoing or their shortcomings, or because you're superior to them, you are the best at all times. Other people are not doing it right. Because you are superior, you know it better. Yes, so that is the judgmental one. And overwhelmed anger. Overwhelmed anger is when we get really angry because we have too much on our plates all the time. You just have too much on your plate all the time. You just have too much to do. You never had any time for yourself. So you burst out in anger all the time. You burst out in anger all the time. This is the type of anger when when the stressor is beginning to show us the sign that you are walking towards danger. And then that is the type of, and then we look at the passive aggressive anger. Passive aggressive anger is that type of anger that you don't even know you are doing it sometimes. People don't even count it as anger when we begin to mock people, when we begin to be sarcastic towards people, when we begin, to delay to do something for one another, when we begin to evade each other, when we begin to keep silence, greet other people with a bit of you're not just yourself in greeting the person. Then you carry this type of anger that is called passive aggressive anger. Passive aggressive anger. And this type of anger, for you to manage all this type of anger, from anger 2 to anger 6, behavioral anger, chronic anger, judgmental anger, overwhelmed anger, passive aggressive anger, you need to go back to the drawing board to go to the assertive anger. To go to the assertive anger. And what is the assertive anger? We have learned. What is the assertive anger? Assertive anger is a real constructive type of anger. Assertive anger is a reconstructive type of anger. With this type of anger, you use your feelings. You use your feelings to bring positive reaction, to bring out positive reaction out of people, to bring good out of people. You are not out there to destroy them, but you are there to bring the good out of them. Yes, something wrong is on the ground. Something wrong, you can see that this thing is wrong, but you do not want to capitalize on the wrong. You know that these people have also good inside them. So you want to use this time to bring out the good side of them rather than capitalizing on the wrong side. So I will read the assertive anger again. Assertive anger is a really constructive type of anger expression. If this is the type of anger, you use your feelings of frustration or rage as a catalyst for positive change. Rather than avoiding confrontation or avoiding internalized anger, or resorting to verbal insults and physical outbursts, you express your anger in ways that create change, that get you closer to having your wants and your needs met without causing distress or destruction. Without causing distress or destruction. Expressing anger assertively helps you to address what you want without transgressing other people's rights or violating their boundaries. Without transgressing other people's rights or violating their boundaries. So assertive anger, we were told, is a powerful tool. It's a powerful motivator. When you use assertive anger, you will overcome your fears. You use assertive anger to confront issue, to overcome your fears, to address injustice, and to achieve your desired outcome in life. So don't keep quiet, and we discover that this assertive anger, it is difficult to take on the assertive anger. But one thing I know is that Solomon did say, Lord, who is able to do all these things except you grant that person wisdom? Who is able to practice this assertive anger unless they take on the new man, unless Christ is helping us, unless the Spirit of God is living inside us? How can somebody wrong me? And then I will just say, okay, and then I'll come back. But you can do it. We can all do it. You can all do it. Rather than confronting issue, rather than fighting behavioral, physical, rather than being physical or being violent, take your coat and walk out. Come back and talk about it. That is what we have been taught. Come back. Always walk away or run away from anger, and then when things have calmed down, you come back and talk about it. And that is assertive anger. And in that type of strategy, you are able to overcome your fear. You are able to overcome your fear. You are able to address injustice. You are able to come to achieve your desired outcome. And that type of assertive anger is a powerful motivator. A powerful motivator. I hope that each and every one of us, we have gotten something out of today, out of today. So we were able to look at 3 more new types of anger today. 3 more new types of anger today we looked at. So we looked at, last week we looked at assertive anger, behavioral anger, and chronic anger. We look at those 3. But today we look at another type of anger that is more of you yourself. It's more of you eating up yourself. Rather than, you're not destroying other person, but you are destroying yourself. The judgmental anger leads you to destroy yourself. Overwhelmed anger is a destroyer of self. Passive anger as well is a destroyer of self. And I pray that each and every one of us, we will look at this type of anger and we will begin to make amendments, make amendment. And if we follow the assertive anger, then, we just go with the word of God that says, follow peace with all men. Follow peace with all men. It says, as much as it lies within your power, it says, follow peace as with all men. And let us not forget the book of Proverbs 14:17 say, a man that is quick to temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil device is hated. A man that is quick to temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil device is hated. And also in Proverbs 29:11, fools give up, they give full range. A fool will give a full range to their anger. Only fools will give full range. They will spend all their card on that anger. They will do the worst that they can do in an anger. But a wise man is always calm to the end. A wise man is always calm to the end. And I pray that God is going to help each and every one of us in the mighty name of Jesus, so that we will not be fools. We will not be fools, but we will be better children of God, and we will be able to encourage one another and to carry people along with us. I want to say thank you to all. Thank you to everyone. Have you got any questions for me? You're welcome again to this my live chat. Yes, you're welcome. If you got any questions for me, we can type in. And then if you got any comments next week when I come back, same time, next week again, I will be coming at 1 o'clock for another live chat, and then we will be discussing the remaining 4 types of anger that we have. We will be discussing the remaining types of 4 types of anger, and that will be 1 o'clock next week. 1 o'clock next week, and that will be next Saturday, 1 o'clock. And be on the watch out. I would send the invite out to each and every one of us. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of us. please, there is something that I want us to do. I want you to like, I want you to share. I want you also to comment, and I want you also to leave your post notification on. And above all, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to subscribe to my channel. So I want you to like, I want you to share. I want you to comment. I want you to leave your post notification on. And I want you to subscribe to my channel. And please, if you can do all that, I will be happy. And I'm grateful for you doing that for me. So I want you to like my channel. I want you to share. I want you to comment on it. And I want you to leave your post notification on. And please, can you subscribe to my channel so that the channel can grow? Thank you very much. Please kindly share this with people, and so that we can go far and near. God bless each and every one of us, and I will see us again next week. So be on the watch out. You can also follow me on Facebook. You can also follow me on TikTok, and here you can follow me on Instagram, or you can follow me here. God bless you. You can follow me on YouTube here as well. God bless you. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for coming with me. God bless you. God bless you. So do not forget to share. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget to leave your post notification on. Do not forget also to subscribe. And do not forget to comment. God bless you. Bye for now. Bye. Bye bye. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you. God bless you. Bye for now. Bye. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Bye bye. 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 See you next week. Bye bye.